we are on the site of the castle.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
That's what you do. You buy these planes that cost money and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on with a smile on his face.
We just want you to sit in your chair and go hip hip hooray to the Western press and the Western narrative. You regurgitate the same old every single day without this. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Stallone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this wonderful history show. Yes. See that? Great, isn't it? Do you feel all Christmassy? I put the techies off Francine's order. She said, Dad, have you got those decorations? I said, no. She said, put them up. Sophie's coming down to see us. So I put them up. I've done a good job, you know. I've done a good job. I'll take a picture one night and go, click. Just say, yeah, there's my little thing. I'll send it over to Jason to pull up. I think I have anyway. Got one of those Father Christmases, you know. But anyway, I just like, before I bring my wonderful friend on, Anthony, I've just got to thank Gap Painting Services for sponsoring the Frank Carlyle Show. Listen, Christmas is right upon us. And if if you've got a room there and you're saying, oh, why didn't I get that? Get these in, they'll do it. They will do it. They're in and out. Great prices, honestly. You know, it'll save all your missing. It really will. They're in and out. And it'll leave you a little, whatever room it is, sparkling. It really will. Anyway, if you're an NHS worker and if you're a senior citizen, you get special discounts. And they're brilliant, honestly. So if don't struggle. Don't struggle with it. Please don't struggle with any decorating. Get these lads in. The first class. And that's Gap Painting Services, who sponsor the Frank Carlyle Show. And it's a big thank you to them. Anyway, I've got these little comments. All these. Gary Rigby. Evening, everyone. Get those likes on. Thank you, Gary. Thank you for Darrell, Frankie's fallen asleep, I think. I fell asleep this afternoon, actually. I was waiting for our Francine, Sophia. And she picked Sophia up from school. She went to do a little bit of Christmas shopping for her. And I just went clink. I was gone. I was asleep. Then I get a phone call. She said, Dad, I'm 10 minutes away. Okay. Here he is. Merry Slopmas, Frank. I got a Merry Clopmas once. Merry Clopmas. And a Cloppy New Year, honestly. Paul Turner, hello Frank, hope you're doing okay today. Yeah, it was great to see me little granddaughter Sophia. She's got a fractured arm. It's in a sling, plaster of Paris, and it's in a sling. And I gave a few little history tips as well about it, plaster of Paris. And she was made up. She went, oh, she said, I can't wait to tell me teacher. So, and she was asking about Queen Victoria, funny enough. Told her about her. And she asked me when Elizabeth I died. I never told her anything, though. If you know what I mean, what I know. Tony LFC, evening Frankie and 2 pints and a thumbs up. Evening Tony. Bet you've got your mince pies, What a lad. What a lad. They're letting on to each other. Little Mo salad. Exactly. Mo salad. Running down the wing. Every time, she loves Trent Arnold, She really loves that Trent Arnold. She's got a shirt and everything. And she's going to match. She's going to the Accrington Stanley match. Can't get her any big games, unfortunately. I can't get any bloody tickets anyway. Wakaz Ahmed. Well, hope you're well. My question was, do you see any potential sale of Liverpool? Yes, I do, actually. But this is not the night to do it, unfortunately. This is the history show. Wakaz Ahmed. What do we call you? Ahmed. Ahmed, look out for tomorrow night. It's about 8:15, and it's a post-match thing, after the Girona game. Okay, that's tomorrow night. So I'll be talking more about that then, if that's okay. But yeah, I do see those selling. I really do. And Gary says, what's the subject tonight, Frank? Everything goes tonight, Gary. Everything with me good friends, Anthony. It's one of those things, because John McArdle sent a message. He was supposed to be on tonight, and he sent us profound apologies. He said, Frank, I can't make it. Not tonight. He said, I'm awfully sorry. He said, can I come on again? I said, come on in the new year. No problem. No problem, Joe. Because what I was going to do, and I will advertise this, because this is a great book. If you're going away or whatever, in the summer, get this. You Never Said Goodbye. And it's a personal account of his about his dad. About his dad. As it says, you never said goodbye. It's a cracking story, It's not like it really. Oh, Chris Bacino. Not Bacino. Bacino. I wonder how he is. Hiya, Chris. How are you, mate? I'm okay. Hello, Frank. Hope you're well. How's your dad, mate? How's your dad, Peter? How is he? I know that he wasn't well, ages ago, that when you told me last time. I see it being acting and everything on Facebook, and I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm under a new name. But, please let your dad know. I always think about my old mates, your dad, Muggy, them all, Pat McKay, Tony Farrell, and, I know they've passed, well, not Pat, but Tony and Joey and Mick Jones, all lovely lads. So tell I was asking about them, please. Me, got fond memories of it. I went to match with him, me and him, and we were kids. And we got on the bar of, in the cop. We bunked in from the boys' pen into the cop. and these fellas lifted us up on the bar, you know, we were like behind the bar, if you know what I mean, you know, those crushed things. And we were kids. And Billy Little is a ball. Billy Little. That's how far back it is. And I had a pair of wellies on, and you know, turned down, if you know what I mean. You never have it at the, you always turned your wellies. And I swung, and I was hanging. I was hanging upside down on this bar, you know. Never forget that. And I actually mentioned it on LFC TV when I was on there at that time, you know. Me and your dad. So let me know how he is, please. Pete, Chris, if you're still there with us. Anyway, I'm going to bring on my good friend, Mr. Anthony Brown. This wonderful man who actually painted me. I said, do you want to paint me nude or what? He said, behave yourself, sit there, just give me a smile. So I said, oh, okay then. There he is. Hiya, Anthony.
Good evening, Frank. Good evening. Good evening, all. Thanks, Frank.
So how are you? How did your weekend go?
It was, you know, as ever, really, just juggling family stuff, and yeah, we lost Laney's dad in the past week, so it's kind of been scheduled to get everything ready to say goodbye on Friday, and then it's strange, Frank, the way that Christmas kind of takes over everything, really, and I'm glad. In a way, I'm not a flag waving Christmas lover, really. I grew up with it. My mum was, and Lainey is, as you know, and but it does instill a wonderful sense of peace in you. I think when the world is crazy enough, so we can't worry about that stuff. You know.
Chris Pacino, don't say so. Chris Pacino said, oh, no, don't tell me. Can I DM, please, Frank? Yeah, I know. If he's coming out with that. Oh, Jesus, no. Yeah, DM me, Chris, please. Got to take a big breath now. Evening, Anthony, says Tony LFC.
Evening, Tony.
You know what I mean? You get scotches and...
Tis the weather for scotches, Frank. And the season. Never say no to a scotch.
Oh, you don't, do you?
You can always hide one under the cup of tea.
I always remember when I first met you, and it was to do, you know, one of the Liverpool heads.
In the beautiful house.
I was freezing, and Drew Schofield was there, as you know, and it was just talking to him, you know, whatever. And the next was, you were like that, yeah, do you want a cup of tea? And I went, oh, yeah, please. And you put scotch in it. I didn't even know. I went like that. And I went, oh. It was lovely. It was warm me up because I was bloody freezing in that place, but it was winter. It was winter.
Well, it was kind of a great level, it wasn't it? Because we'd never physically met till that day. And you came in and we were kind of like, oh, should I say this? Should I do this? Or whatever. Yeah. You know, should I lend me coat or all that stuff? And it's like, there's a cup of tea, Frank, and there's a dram. And between us, we did the bottling on that day. I think I was.
Yeah, I know. And I wasn't driving either because I was in Merseyside, but I had to go to work and I was in town. I was giving some lectures where I was only in town, so I never brought the car. And just as well, wasn't it?
You skipped it.
Just as well. Oh.
Oh,
And Redbird says, what's wrong, Frank? I've just joined the chat and you sound rough, lad. No, an old neighbour's son, he asked me, Chris Bacino, can I DM, please, Frank? Because I asked about his dad. He came on and he said, hello, Frank, hope you're well. And I asked about his dad. And I was doing a little bit of reminiscing. about him, me and him and, some other friends of ours. And he's a good Red as well, Peter. And I know that he hasn't been well. And when he said, can I, can I DM you? Something must be wrong. Must be ill. He must be very ill. And as Gary says, Chris, are you related to Louis Bacino from what? It must be. There's only a few Bacinos, to be honest. They all came from our area, Tierra Gardens, Tierra Crescent, and some moved away, obviously. And the Redbird, Louis, yeah, he will be, because there was 2 Bacino's families in our square, and Louis, I knew his mother, I knew his granddad, and I knew them all, and that, because they lived on the same land than I was. Louis, yeah. Redbird. Hello, is it me you're looking for? Bless up, Frankie. Bless up, Anthony, says the Redbird.
bless up, Redbird. Yeah, it was you we were looking for.
Do you know what I want to do? I want to, I really do, do you know when you get bad news? I remember I was living down at the time in Essex, Billericay.
Yeah.
And I get woken up, never forget this, at 7:20 in the morning. Never forget it. And a voice, lovely lady, said to me, Frank. And I went, but she called me Francis, She said, Francis. And I said, I just woke up. I said, yeah, what's wrong? And she said, this. Told me John Lennon.
Yeah.
And you know what? I tell you, woman just come out, didn't it? It was and starting over. And we were talking about it. We were talking about, woman and starting over. He's back because he got missing for about 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah. How did it affect you, Anthony?
I like family, I think, which sounds strange, but I think that's true of a lot of us Scousers who are very close to the people we love. And I had a similar thing, Frank. It was my mum. I've been on double shifts when I was working, chefing, and my mum woke me up just after 7, and couldn't believe it, because I too had been a fanatical Beatle fan all my life, because my mum's younger sisters were all buyers of albums and stuff, and so we as the youngsters would inherit the albums and singles, and so it was kind of, they were always there, for my entire life. And I'd learned to play guitar by listening to their music. I'd inspired myself by listening to them talking to be a painter. That kind of thing of magic that they instilled in so many people, certainly John, that, you know, you can do it. Whatever you want to do, do it. You want to be an author, you want to be a bus driver, you want to be a guitar player, you can do it. And we believed it because they came from where we came from. So it was kind of very like a family bond. And yeah.
Do you know what? A couple of things. One, I think it was last week or whatever. Yeah, last week, and there was things coming up, and I said, you know, what's going on in the bloody world today? And I said the greatest peace activist was John Lennon. So a few like comments up. I wasn't, you know, I was on another stream. You see, these streams I follow, and then all of a sudden, like going off these comments, one said he was a coward. You know, I wish I would have been live. I wish I would have spoken like this, and I would have put him in his place. But I just said, get that top, whatever I commented, and it was allowed as well. It was allowed, you know, because YouTube like stopped comments.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, I told him where to go, if you know what I mean. He was a coward, and he was a great peace activist. He really was, John Lennon. You've only got to listen to his, you know, the song now that'll come out for Christmas. You know, the Xmas war is over if you want it. What a message to send out.
What a man. Absolutely, Frank. And he was so inspirational, but also so that Scouse wit obviously was never failed him beyond the norm. But he had the ability to pull something out of the air and say it. Criticize you, say you're wrong, and this is why you're wrong. And it was absolute perfect sense. What he was talking was perfect sense. And the line which he said, the world is run by insane people. Yeah. Totally insane reasons.
Yeah.
It was in like 1968, 9.
See, I see, last week when I was mentioning this, I put up, I wonder what John would say. John, I just said, never said John, I just said Lennon. What would Lennon think of this today? That's what I said. And then, you know, a little bit further down, I said he was the greatest of all peace activists.
Yes.
I said, look at and I mentioned about the crowds he had. There's a great, you know, Xmas war is over. And it's out now, you know, on YouTube. And if you get it up, what you see is, I don't know why they never done this, to be honest. They show you all the people in America, you know, and give peace a chance and all this, you know, everything. And even in New York especially. But they showed film of St. George's Plateau. But they never said where it was.
Oh.
It was St. George's Plateau.
Yeah.
Oh, crowd. No, I never come up. Gerrard, you know, I was talking to Gerrard on the phone, and he said, Francis, he said, we're all in mourning here.
Yeah.
We're all in mourning, and we're all going to meet at the St. George's Hall, you know, and it was the Plateau.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, and as Gary says, I remember it well, Frank. I was in bed. I was in bed as well. My brother told me, and the red bed says, John Lennon was great, but Yoko is a no-no for me. See, you know, they're so diverse about, you know, there's a lot of diversity about Yoko.
There is, and also New York. You know, had he not gone to New York, had he, you know,
Has he
stayed,
not married? Has he not married Yoko? To be honest,
yeah,
you know, it's one of those things where, as Paul McCartney said, he just felt he loves it. He just loves Yoko, and this is like during the time they were together. He just loves Yoko, so Yoko just took away everything. He, I'm not saying, you know, get away from them or anything like that. He just wanted to be with Yoko, and that's why he.
she inspired him, Frank.
Yeah.
It was the how many times have we met people and we sit down and talk to them, and they're quietly inspirational in their way, and you think, wow, I like that person, that lady, that man. I hope I see them again, and it's that kind of magic that they make you strive for something else. I think that's what she did for him. I think when he was a kid and he was going through the tragedy of losing he'd only just found his mother again and a life together, and at age 16 she was killed, and it just sunk him into this world of, no, I don't care where I'm going.
Yeah.
But then rock and roll kind of discovered him, and he thought, that's what I want to do. And then at a point, he'd done it all. He'd done it all, and then he met Yoko, and he thought, that's a good way of thinking. I never thought like that. You know, inspired to do other stuff. And I think that was the way he went. He was always, to me, possibly the most inspirational person in our generation, certainly lifetime. And it was, even now, you can look back, those old papers or magazines, you can pick one up on an interview, and there'll be something in there quite profound that he said then that still rings true now. And as you're saying about War is Over, he wrote that in 1972, you know, and he knew the importance of getting it across to multiple people. So he invited the children's singers in from a local school in New York to do the backing, which for me totally made it, because it's not a protest song per se, but it is reminding people that
it's the last words what it says, you know, Happy Xmas, War is over. If you want it, this is to the people, this is to me and you and everybody else even on the chat. You know, we've got to say something, but we don't seem to say anything. Look what's going on today. Can I just go a few comments here? Gary says she was horrible to Julian, really nasty.
Yeah,
we know that.
She was.
Weatherby Pond. I was getting ready to go to work and heard on Radio City, never put the box on Ben in the morning. Got the telly, that is. And he just had Radio Merseyside, Radio City, and bang, he was sold.
Yeah.
Redbird, it's not all about money. We didn't keep mentioning how much Navy cost us to stay on the sick bed. Still that came out. She's the Redbird. Anyway, Gary says the 60s were in black and white until Beatlemania in 1964. Yes.
Yeah, totally get that, Gary. And I agree with you.
That's a brilliant comment, because they colorise, you know, with the music, everything.
And you can see it. You can see it in a cartoon video. So they go down to London, and it was them that light up London, not Carnaby Street and not anything else. It was the way they were going. And he totally wrote the book on songwriters and experimentation in music. Really, really, I can't. You know me, Frank. You know me for years, but I can't praise him enough for that. But I felt at the time the need to obtain and buy and keep every piece of paper that came out about it. Because I just felt that this was like the end of something that I didn't want to end. So the papers, the magazines, the everything as a kid, because I was, I think I was just 19 when he went. I bought everything and just kept them in bags for years.
Go on, just keep carrying on. I'm trying to get something here. Let's see. I wonder if that's it. Sorry about this. Yeah, got that one going. Just see it there. Good man, right. Let me take this down a minute.
Yeah. Andy Peebles.
Yeah. The learning tapes. And I'm going to ask our lads on here. If anyone wants to start off with me, just let me know. I can't blimey, can you see it?
Yeah, what we see. Yeah. That was
tapes. If anyone wants it, just let me know when you can have it.
That was the most remarkable interview, I think, ever. There's only other one that comes close to that for me was an interview by a lovely guy, Whispering Bob Harris, who did the old grey whistle test. And he interviewed John in 1974, 75, when his rock and roll album came out. And he was very upbeat. Lennon was very upbeat. And normally what been happening is people would say, the Beatles are getting back together, and he'd just lose it with them, say, don't be stupid, don't be soft. But when Bob brought it up, he said, I'm ready for it. If the others are ready for it, I'm ready for it.
But when they going to come back, Lennon said himself, the lads had agreed. Now the lads would have agreed.
They would have if he was the leader from when they were kids. It was his vision, and he said, "Let's go for it." And Paul came in, and Paul was kind of like-minded, and so was George. Ringo was just a great drummer, fantastic drummer, and also he had the ability to laugh and joke, and the humour that they had surrounded themselves with. And John had booked the band who played on Double Fantasy. The bass player Tony Levin was exceptional player. These guys are all still playing now with Peter Gabriel and stuff. But he booked the band to go on a world tour. He was coming to Liverpool, and he said to one of his friends, he said, I don't know if anyone in the UK would want to come out and see me. And we think now, oh my God,
Exactly. I think if they would have gone to Rain 3 Days course.
Yeah.
I went to see Michael Jackson there. And,
yeah. But when you think about it, in 1980, there wasn't that many big venues, were there?
No.
I mean, you had like the Wembley Arena down in London and stuff. And
no, they wanted to play Liverpool, didn't they?
Yeah, because they knocked down Liverpool Stadium and stuff like that. So our biggest thing was the Empire, wasn't it? In Liverpool, which which would not have come close to the number of people that wanted to see him, you know. Wow.
Well, Mary Stan says 80s equals hated equals Lenin assassinated, Shanks gone, Heysel, Hillsborough, Chernobyl, and USA. Won the year world, Katya decade, and by the end of the decade, Liverpool's domestic stroke, European domination near the end. That's a cracking comment. It really is.
Yeah.
That's a mad decade, you know, the 80s. And the Anfield Roar. Good evening, Frankie and Anthony.
Thank you.
With me.
We will raise each one of them to you guys and to Mr. Lennon.
Yes, as he says at the end, you know, if only he didn't go to America, our John.
But that's life, isn't it? I mean, we could probably fill a few shows with the thing of if only, you know, Buddy Holly, if only he had not got on that plane, and, you know, and the list goes on historically as well over, you know.
Well, a lot of people actually, you know, what Redbird says, what did John say in Yoko Weirdo? Maybe she bewitched him. I think she did, but not in a way that we know. We know, you know, if you fall in love or whatever, you know, we know that's bewitched. You're bewitched by that person, and that person is bewitched by you. But she did something different.
She opened his mind to different things. When he'd been in the Beatles nearly 10 years, they've achieved everything they could achieve. Where were they going to go? You know, he didn't want, and none of them wanted, none of the four wanted to become Val Doonican, you know, appearing on TV on a, all due respect to Val Doonican, but, you know, they didn't want to get to that stage where they were Sunday night TV.
The jumpers on. Val Doonican, the jumpers on. And he was all right, Val, though, wasn't he? But we had nothing back in the days, we had like some the Val Doonican show. Good grief. Scouse
the number 9 was a big part of John. It's to do with a thing called numerology, where we're all assigned a number in our life, and there's an easy way of working out what your number is. And I'll research it for next time Frank and I are talking. But basically, the numbers that denote your life, like might be number 1 or number 2, number 3. The number 9 is normally the number that's attributed to people who absolutely go to orbit with what they do. John Lennon and Jimi Hendrix was the number 9, and there's so many other presidents and world leaders and things, good people who were number 9. And the way it goes in numerology is that it's such a powerful number that it brings very, very good things, and it also brings very, very bad. And John was aware of the numerology aspect, and he wrote about it many times. And one of his most beautiful songs, is probably mid 70s, is number 9 Dream, which is a fantastic, I think it was on Walls and Bridges album 75, 74. And then that stayed with him. And then also the Beatles signed their record contract on 9, on a date 9. And there's so many things in his life, big things, happenings that happened on around number 9. And obviously his death, you know, it was the 8th in America, by the time we got the news here, it was 9.
Well, as the Scouse Red says, John always has a thing about the number 9. He died at 10 p.m. in New York, which is 3 a.m. in Liverpool.
Yeah,
That's mad, that.
it is mad, Frank, and there's so many aspects of it, that come up. There's so many things I don't understand, but I read about and I think that sounds massive. But it's there. But numerology is, I wouldn't call it a science. Maybe it is science, but it's kind of the theory that our life is denoted. We've all got a number. You might be number 1 or number 2 or number 3, and ordinarily
I've got lucky numbers myself.
Yeah, well, these
I said on here when numbers have gone up there, I said, there's my lucky numbers up there. When I can see things up here which people can't, and that's when I like and do things like that, and I go, wow, there's my lucky numbers there. So
well,
maybe I am lucky in ways with these bloody numbers. I don't know.
The numerology thing, I think, kicks in ancient Rome or ancient Greece.
Yeah.
Or something. It's on a par with watching the planets. And
well, we were talking about Jeremiah Horrocks with what's his name?
Yeah,
Gerald Gilligan, the astronomer.
Yeah,
I made up that with that because I know of Jeremiah, and he had numbers as well. I forgot to mention it to him actually. He had numbers like a sequence of numbers, and he was a great mathematician. He was a genius for his age because he died when he was 24.
I know.
And he's seen the transit. I forget what you call it. Of Venus, which is phenomenal, going back to the 1600s, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'll just read out a few things. Gary Rigby says they were offered millions to reform in the 70s. They were. Anfield says, Anthony, you're spot on on the Beatles. Would have come back in between 80 and 82. They had already had meetings in the New York. I'm gutted they didn't survive up to the 90s. I would have loved more music. We all would have done.
Yeah.
We all would have done.
We all would have. But that's a strange thing, and it's like the strange thing with enormous figures in our cultural life. Charles Dickens, John Lennon, is like they've never gone away because of what they've achieved and what they produced through their work still inspires. I don't think there's a day goes by that I don't put tracks of the Beatles or Lennon on, and I'm sure there's millions of people, likewise.
I'm going to answer Chris Pacino here. Can't I sent a message last week on Facebook and Jason said he would pass it on. Well, we have a break, Chris. We have a break at 9 o'clock. I'll have a look at that. Okay, mate, I'll have a look at it. I hope your dad's not too serious. Honest to God, I just don't, Peter. Anyway. Marie Stan says, everything has its time. The phenomenon of Liverpool football and music at its peak, 60s, 70s, can't be equaled. I agree there.
No, yeah. Can't. Totally get. Yeah.
And Mary says, Anfield says, Mary Stan is a bundle of joy, but very true, lad. Britain's worst hurricane, also Michael Fish. That was the 80s. Yeah, that was the 80s, wasn't it? When he said, "Don't be worrying." about this storm. You know, it was a hurricane in America this year. And he said, it won't touch us, albeit that it's moving across the Atlantic or up from the Atlantic. And it's us uprooted trees and everything.
Yeah.
The fish boy.
Did. Yeah. Killed quite a few people, didn't it, across the country?
Yeah, it certainly did.
Yeah, was that 89?
88, 89, yeah. 88, 89. Michael Fish. The weather. What a name to have. Michael Fish, the weatherman. Can't make these things up.
I wrote to him when I was at school because I was doing a project on weather, universal, global.
Yeah.
And I wrote to him, and he sent me a lovely message back. This is 1977, and he sent me copies of the maps because obviously now we're used to it goes on big screens and whatever. But then these big paper maps, like charts, like shipping charts, that they used to have to study and then go on air and try and recall what was in the map. Yeah, he sent me a load, and I kept them for years and years in my mum's, in a wardrobe in my mum's, and then at some point they were thrown out. Yeah. So, thank you for that, Michael.
I feel Anthony, so long ago, was it in a dream? Was it just a dream? I know, yes, I know, seems so very real. It seems so real to me. Love that song. Love that. Love the music and
That's
meaning with it. That's a cracker.
Number 9, Dream.
A Day in the Life and Imagine is fantastic. Says Noah Hyde. Absolutely. And I forget, I was watching something and someone quoted, imagine all the people living life in peace. This is on the streams I follow that people don't follow, unfortunately. And it was brilliant the way this fella, I forget who it was. He was on, he was talking.
Yeah.
It was brilliant the way he said it, and I went, thank you, some American. And this is strange, like John Lennon says, the Anfields. John Lennon loved the number 9. So weird that the stats, John Lennon wrote 6 Beatle number 1s on US billboards, and then had 3 single number 1s in a solo career, all amounting to 9. That is too weird.
That's the basis, Anfield, of numerology.
Yeah.
Have a little check up on it, and it sees that, and you'll find yourself in your own life if, for instance, your the way you're working it out is your date of birth and this stuff, and then say, for instance, number 7, and you'll find that number has popped up in your life. But number 9 is the most powerful of the numbers.
Well, number 11, that's my lucky number.
Yeah.
And number 2, any 2. If there's 2 2s, I'm delighted. If there's 3 2s, wow. If there's 4 2s, wow. I was watching something and I stopped it. And there was a time, when I was watching a live thing, and I paused it. And it was 2 2 2 2 2 2. I couldn't believe it. All the 6 2s there was. I'm like, wow. Because, as I said, 2's my lucky number. And that came up. A little bit later on, I paused it again. And it was 1111, which is my lucky number. Because if you have my birth up, it always comes to 11.
Yeah.
And my mother died on the 11th, and that was a birthday as well.
There you go.
Look, no, 1111 is my fated number. Yeah, mad, isn't it? And my mother died on the 22nd.
27th.
22nd of December. Yeah. Their anniversary's coming up. It's mad, isn't it? You know, these numbers.
Well, do you know what, Frank? We've said often, and I've said often that there's more we don't understand than we do. You know, so it's a magic thing. You know, it's recurrence, and just embrace it. You know, we can't stop the clock, unfortunately.
No, and
life goes on, you know.
It's like the aging process, isn't it? You know, you can't stop the aging process.
Yeah.
It's surprising. I was watching something, and it was a recent thing, you know, something like a few months ago. Someone came on the telly, and I was just watching YouTube, and I remember this particular person, this girl it was, and she was beautiful, you know, in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I went, it shocked me. You know, the aging process. She hasn't had any facelifts or any. She's just stayed normal. And I was shocked, you know. I didn't even know. I couldn't recognise it, to be honest, until the name came up and what she had done in the past. And wow. And so it's like the aging process. You can't stop it.
Yeah, can't stop it. But it is a gift that was still here, you know, and that's the thing. But back to the John Lennon thing and the kind of humour that he had in the banter. There's an interview going around, I think it was with Paul, where Paul said he and George used to go to the Liverpool Art School at dinner time because they were at the pupils at the Institute. So they used to sag off school, going to the art school where John was and sit in the cafe and have a cup of tea and a ciggy. And John Lennon had said to them, "Seen that fella over there? He's in my class." And he looked at this fella and he thought, "Oh God, so sorry for him." And the interviewer says, "What was the problem?" He said, "He was an old fella. He was about 22." And they obviously were like 17, 18, whatever. So the concept of age is always there, you know.
It's constantly there. I just, before we go to the break, I just want to show everyone this. And what I'll be doing, people, is I'll be looking at this more closely. No. Hang on. Blimey, why doesn't that go out the way? Better. Look at that. Hello. That's great. Didn't even know I could see that. Fabulous. Anyway, what I want to do is to show you things, you know, around here. And we'll be able to drag it over too. So we'll be looking at lots of things from the balloon. I've actually got this in my home. So I'll be looking at things, people, after the break. Is that okay? And I'll see you after the break, Anthony. And I'll see you after the break chat. It'll be good.
These ferocious looking beasts are the guardians of St. George's Hall, but they haven't always been here. Say my friend Leo, for example, he's got a huge mane, he's got a tail, huge paws, but one thing he hasn't got and his mouth's open is a tongue. So why would anybody sculpture 4 fantastic lions and not give them tongues? Here's the reason why. It was designed so that these lions were at the base of a fountain, and this is where the water was going through. The idea was that the water would come through the lion, through its mouth, and that's why it hasn't got a tongue. So why are they here? Well, obviously, the fountain was never built down in London. We brought them up here to Liverpool, so now they are the guardians of St. George's Hall. So the next time you pass on the bus, take a look into the lion's mouth. Here's a cracker for you. And people who have lived in the city seem to have bypassed this, and it's Sweeting Street off Castle Street, and it's one of the oldest streets in Liverpool. Why Sweeting Street? Has it anything to do with the import of sugar or an old sweet shop? No, it's got nothing at all to do with that. If you live in a drive, if you live in a close, if you live in a cul-de-sac, that's fine. But if you live in a street, you've got Mayor Sweeting to thank for that. In Liverpool, there was no street signs. So people, if they were by the castle, they knew that they were in Castle Street, or they knew that they were in Lord Street, or they knew that they were in Dale Street, or even Water Street for that matter. But any visitors coming into Liverpool, wherever they were standing, they didn't know what street they were in. In 1698, the city fathers then decided to name a street after the mayor at the time, Mayor Sweeting, because he was such a benevolent man. Mayor Sweeting, he wasn't egotistical, by the way. He just couldn't believe that they were actually going to name a street after him. So Sweeting himself asked the city fathers if they would sign the street. So every other street after Sweeting Street that was signed, the first one in Liverpool, it was a knock-on effect. Lord Street was signed, Dale Street was signed, Castle Street was signed, Water Street was signed, and every other street in Liverpool. So wherever you are in Liverpool, or any other city for that matter, and you're asking for a place, a certain place, either to get off a bus, ask a taxi driver, or even meeting a friend, and you'd always name a street. So we have to thank Mayor Sweeting for that privilege. It's not the most glamorous of streets, because there's no fancy shops, no fancy buildings, or no fancy anything for that matter, but what it has got, it's got history. This is Liverpool 1, the newest shopping centre of the city. But in 1841 stood on the John Lewis site one of our greatest buildings, built by John Cunningham for the sailors, and it was known as the Sailors' Home. Unfortunately, it was demolished in 1974. After 1974, nothing at all remained of the Sailors' Home, apart from this. Come and have a look. This is what I wanted to show you, and they are the Henry Pooley Gates, and aren't they just absolutely fantastic? And they're here to stay. When I say here to stay, we lost them for many years because they were actually found in the East Midlands, and it took years of campaigning to get them back, and got them back we did. If these beautiful gates have something to go by, what was the Sailors' Home? Well, from 1841, if you could imagine the sailors, whether they're in the Merchant Navy, the Royal Navy, or any other navy, going to war. Don't forget, we had the Crimean, we had the First World War, we had the Second World War, and these lads went through these gates That's why we had to get them back. The Sailors' Home, I'll tell you what it was for. It was for sailors, no matter where they came from, all around the world, even local, even national, they all came here. And instead of paying for a hotel, they paid for cheap accommodation in this wonderful building. And there they could relate stories of far off lands. Yet, it was the Sailors' Home that gathered these lads together. As the great American writer Herman Melville of Moby Dick fame once said, sailors love Liverpool, for in Liverpool they find their paradise. And where are we? Paradise Street.
Wow, absolutely brilliant. I never picked up on Mayor Sweeting and the street signs, but how wonderful is that? But the Sailors' Home there, when you encapsulated everything in that was just, oh my God, the stories that would have been swapped in there. You know, the sailors, the different journeys they were on.
Well, that's how, you know, when that's how we got our name. You know, we never called ourselves Scousers, and it was only through as you know, the Norwegians who made this love Scouse.
Yeah.
And after a while, we started to make it, and when people, different ports around the world, when Liverpool sailors, where are you from? From Liverpool, our Scouts, because they knew about the Scouts.
Yeah.
And that's how we got our name. Scouts, the Scouser.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
See, we just didn't call ourselves, we're very proud of the terminology Scouser, because I always say I'm a very proud Scouser. It's a very unusual nickname for Liverpool people, Scousers.
Yeah.
I think it's a great name. You can't take that away.
It is. Unfortunately, and going back to what Gary had said before early on, I think it was Gary or could have been earlier post, that the 80s kind of tarnished a lot of Scouse life, and Scousers became almost a taunt, or you're like them Scousers, and then the same association of car wheel, whatever else, the propaganda that came with it. So they tried to hijack that and associate that with the badness that goes on up and down the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree, and me and my family and Laney's family, defo, very proud to be Scousers.
Of course, we all are. We all are. Scouser, that's right. I can't see the comments because we're that big. I can't see the comments. I just said, Jason, I hope he's listening. I love him. Jeez. Unless I left her there, I can't even get. I don't know where they are. Oh, extra full screen. There we are. Look at that. Hey, look at, I'm not half clever, aren't I?
Go.
Am I clever? Could you see those comments, by the way? I couldn't. Because it was that big, you see.
Yeah.
Okay. And the unfair, my birthday is on the 15th of April, so every year since Hillsborough, I never. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
That's unbelievable. That Unfield.
Yeah.
That is. And someone had to have birthdays on that day. Someone had to have birthdays. And the Anfield says, great show, fellas. Thank you.
Thank
a
you.
Liverpool video. Oh my God, Frank hasn't changed at all. What a natural in front of the camera. Behave. You never see me in real life. Yeah, look at that. No, I'm getting all compliments here. Frank looks younger and more Steve Jobsy now. Steve Jobs. I wish he had Steve's money. Anyway, no, Two-tailed mermaids reminds me of Abraxas dreamt of similar creature 2 nights ago. Two-tailed mermaid reminds me of Abraxas. I don't know what that means, you know, no, I think you'll have to fill us in. I'm gonna do some of this map here. I'm gonna do some of it. And do you know what I was looking for? Unfortunately, I was looking for. Let's see. Oh, there's a game. I won't be able to see the comments. Oh. But anyway, let's see. You see, when we look at this, and you look here, this.
Yeah.
When I've asked people, I said, where do you think this is? You know, because I used to show this when I was doing classes. You say, where do you think this is? And they couldn't guess. And it's Central Station. Central Station. Because it's absolutely fantastic when you look. Where am I? Where have I gone? Oh.
You did, you do.
I've gone. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Jay. I'm useless. Because when you look here, that's Central Station. Then you have another one just over the road, which is very unusual. And that's Lime Street. Have I gone again? Gone again, haven't I? I don't know where. I don't know what's happening. Look at me, I think I'm frozen. Sorry about this, people. I'm frozen. If you can hear me, I'm awfully sorry. If you can hear me, I don't know what was going on there.
We can hear you. Okay. Technology again, Frank.
It is, isn't it?
Must be a number 9 map. When it works very well. When it doesn't,
do you know what? I think I'm going over. When I cross over there, it goes off. I don't know what's wrong with it. It just goes off all of a sudden. Sorry about this. I can't even pinpoint things out, and I had loads of things to pinpoint. Oh yeah. Jason's doing it now. So
when was that map created? Drawn?
1885.
Wow.
It was a French. Can you hear me, Anthony?
Yeah, Frank. No, the volume and everything. Hear you great. Yeah.
1885 it was. It was a Frenchman. And he went up in a balloon, you know, near, say where the Adelphi is now.
Yeah.
See where the Adelphi is now. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Thanks, Jay. He should be doing this. It's got off again. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm useless. So there's Limey there, right? I was doing the wrong one. I was doing the wrong, you know me. I was doing the wrong one. Right here, right. So there you've got Lime Street. And if you drag us over, not Lime Street, I'm sorry. And if you drag us over a little, there you've got Lime Street. That was Central Station, and you've got Lime here. See, got Lime Street.
We're not seeing your map at the moment, Frank.
Can you see me now?
No, it's coming up. It's come up at the moment with a grey box.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here we go.
I think I don't know what's going on. I really don't, unfortunately. Let's see. Fucking. You'll have to cancel the show, to be honest. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's happening. I don't know whether it's me or it's Jason. No. I just don't know. I really don't know what's going on. And I was so looking forward to telling you about certain things.
Well, tell us about the certain things.
I'd like to show them, to be honest. I just... Look, people, just wait a minute. I'm going to phone... Now, Jason's... I'm sure he's doing it. I'm sure he's getting... Just bear with me. I'm going to phone Jay. I don't know, honest.
In the days of the
no, okay, no, it's Jason. He just said keep on talking. I've frozen, I know that. I've frozen. Can you hear me, Anthony? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
You're perfect. I'm not, unfortunately. But anyway, it's a cracking comment there by Noah Hyde. He says, you were talking about the sailor's house where the gates had two fins. Yeah. You're right there. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know where that. I'm getting messages left, right, and centre. Anyway. Oh, jeez. Sorry about this. Right, so thanks for that. No, I didn't know. I hadn't a clue about all these creature deities. Abraxas is a Gnostic creature deity with two serpents. Anyway, that's good, that, because I never had a clue. The only thing is I got those gates back. Me and a lad by the name of Phil Griffiths. We located them and we fought hard, tooth and nail, with the Midlands people in charge and, the council, but we finally got them back. And I was made up with that. But all people were jumping on the bandwagon saying, oh, look at that. I hadn't a clue who these fucking people were.
No.
And I just said to Phil, I said, I'm walking away. I don't know who these people are. They're all there saying, oh, look at us, look what we've done. They've done nothing. I don't even know them. See what I mean? When they see something, oh, they jump on the coattails.
They're still there, Frank. Yeah. So what was it originally? Was it did simply our council sell the metal, the scrap, on to another council, or was it demolition?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Was it simply that our council sold the gates on to another council, or was it a demolition firm who kind of subsidised their work with selling out the gates and whatever else?
It was a massive, I forget the name of it. I always keep forgetting the name of this bloody, it's a very famous weighing firm. Very famous it is. You know, like, I forget the bloody name of it. And they had them on their factory gates, you know. They had them for the factory, but they were just hanging there. They were doing nothing. I think the factory shut down. Yeah. So anyway, what had happened was, we said, can we have them back? But it went to the council, and the council said, no, you can't have them back. We said, why not? And that's it. What I explained there about wars, I said, lads, Liverpool lads going through there, and other lads from all around the world who was involved, the allies of, the country was going through there and not coming back. This is why it's so important. This is why it's so important to Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these other people who had never had a fucking clue of.
Yeah.
How do you like the green screen?
Well, it's green.
Yes.
Like a tree.
Yes. The Christmas tree is gone.
Yeah.
The little Christmas tree is gone.
God, them elves will steal everything.
Yeah, there's little elves. Where's the elves come from? Is it Irish? Is it the island? Are the little Irish elves? Or?
Maybe this is a great thing, isn't it? It's trying to dispel what has been there for centuries and centuries. The Christmas tree, the St. Nicholas, all of that, with the Americanism which came in the 40s. With Rudolph and the cartoons and the big jolly Santa. Now they were there to sell Coca-Cola. You know, there was stuff there before them.
The red, yeah. Well, it was supposed to. I think it was the Norwegians, and they had a green Nicholas. He was dressed in green. I thought
it was maybe German.
Yeah, that's their national colour. Well, and the Germans,
Yeah.
So that's their national colour.
Yeah.
So they look like Father Christmas with the green background.
Could be, yeah. Just need a red top.
Or a red nose.
I saw there's a wonderful program which is I'd read about the song Silent Night, right? Then we turned the box on, and I can't do all of this jibbing through channels stuff. Mine's channel. Lainey's great, and she found this channel, which is seems to be British made, but it's about the origins of Silent Night, which I knew was written by a young Catholic priest. And it was in terms, he wrote this tune to perform to his congregation because the church organ, which is historically been there forever, was full of mice. And the
Really?
noise, everything, the noise from that was quite distracting. So he decided to write a piece of music to perform as part of their Christmas Eve. So he had a mate across town, Salzburg, I think, is where they were. So he walks across, which took him about 4 hours, finds his mate and says, listen, I've got the origins of a song. Do you fancy, putting some guitar to it? So this is in 1888. So his partner says, yeah, all right, you sing it, I'll play it. And then they got this song, which ultimately is Silent Night. And he performed it that night in the church, bit by bit, as wondrous as things are, well before social media and telephones and all that stuff. Word got out that there's this wonderful Christmas song, very, very emotive and very, very full of faith. And then it took off. And then in, I think it was 1934, it came to America, the song, and Bing Crosby recorded a version of it. He didn't want to. He thought, it's a Christmas thing. But he was encouraged to do it. And he recorded a version which went massive. And so Silent Night started to enter into our consciousness. I mean, over in England, we'd kind of heard it before because the German choirs that picked up on the church song, they toured Europe. So like Belgium and France and England. So we kind of got bits of it. But like classical music really didn't hit the mainstream until Bing Crosby. Fascinating documentary.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was an Austrian prince. Well, I've read, not an Austrian priest that wrote it. And he said it wasn't a Christmas song. He said he just wrote it for the sake of writing it,
It was a song, it was the community imagine the church, and it wasn't, there's still footage of the church now. It's not the biggest church, not like a cathedral and stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a big bling thing. It was just like, I want to do something for the, the people who are coming to church tonight, to lighten their mood, put them in a good place. And so he wrote the song, And I'm totally, because I should have his name. And we'll catch up with that next week, and I'll drop it in.
What's your favourite Christmas song? Pop from Pop.
Pop song?
Yeah.
Wow.
Favourite Christmas song?
To make me feel like Christmas. I love traditional stuff, but pop stuff, probably Lennon's So This Is Christmas.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. And my favourite carol is Gloria in Excelsis Deo.
Okay. I do love that because it's festive in a song, isn't it? You see the whole thing in that song.
It reminds me of Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Midnight Mass.
Yeah. I can't listen to certain songs without feeling a pang of emotion. I think Christmas is a wonderful time of the year for all the right reasons. We celebrate whatever your religion, it's a coming together and you celebrate. And it's also a sad time of year because we mourn the people who aren't with us. And you and I will arrange over the next week or whatever to get out and just have a pint, and it's just about being out amongst lots of other people.
Nice people, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's got the same mind,
like
really.
The Anfield Row.
Yeah. It's like all the best, happy Christmas, and yet there's a table full of scotches and beers. Yeah. But one song that I always love, but it's quite powerful, is In the Bleak Midwinter. I love the song because I love the fact that it came from a poem, and someone thought that's quite a profound poem. It was Gustav Holst who wrote The Planets, and he put music to it, and it became what we know now. And that always touches me, that one. That always makes me remember the people we don't physically see, but we know they're with us.
Well, there's Rimsky-Korsakov. That I can't even do the bloody I can't even do it, to be honest. But I love that, and I was reading about it, and it's I forget what it's called actually, and it's a sleigh ride.
Yeah.
It's a sleigh ride, but it's a Christmas-like tune, if you know. It's proper orchestra. It's not like, it's really proper orchestra. I'll ask Jason to try and get it and play about 10 seconds of it, because we get thrown off YouTube. I can't even play my own song.
God.
Did you know that? I can't play my own song that the record I made.
One time I'm gonna pick up a guitar and we'll make one up on the spot here, and then it's like, block that one if you can.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's that song, that tune's coming through my head. Rimsky-Korsakov.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's the beauty of music, and I did it. We got the new computer a while ago, and I haven't had a chance to put loads of music on, so I downloaded a traditional Christmas music CD, and it's all classical music, so it's kind of like before the carols got to put lyrics on it, and it's beautiful, just the music as well. And it's like you just described then, in a piece of music, if a piece of music can make you feel and see in your mind, bells ringing.
Do you know, you mentioned bells ringing. One of my favourite pieces of music comes from Carlyl's Carmina Burana. Right, and what it is, it's O Fortuna. It's brilliant, love it. But the one with the bells, getting the prayer, I'm just sitting there on my own and whatever, and you think of things, and you think. I always think of things, and not good things either, to be honest. So when I'm reminiscing, I go, why did I do that? And to take me out of depression, I always play, because I've got it there, I always play the 1812 Overture. And the climax of it, with the bells going, absolutely fantastic. But I've got a special one of the 1812. And it was the first time I ever heard it with a choral behind it, a chorus. And it was in Russia, that they did this. It's fantastic. Never heard anything like it in all my life. I tell you that, like, a modern song is Conte Partito, which is, you do know it by the way. and it's time to say goodbye. You know, with
Oh yeah,
Sarah Brightman, and
yeah.
absolutely
Oh,
fantastic.
Kathleen
Andrea Bocelli,
sing that, and the great Andre Bocelli.
oh,
Yeah,
fantastic. You know, the pair of them together.
yeah,
And singing it live, by the way.
yeah.
Singing it live, you know, with that
That's
massive orchestra
not the
behind
pure
them.
emotion of music, isn't it? Frankly, it touches.
Yeah,
It's like it. It's like as we talk. It's like humor. If anything is meant, and it comes out of you, and it's meant, and it's joyous or whatever it is, other people pick up on it.
yeah,
Music is a wider scope, you know.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. And I'm sorry about this. I can't do anything with it.
Well,
But,
we've been programming and everything since.
but isn't that lovely? Nah, Central Station, right in the city centre. You know, you've got the bombed out church there, but it wasn't bombed out then.
Yeah,
And that went up, funny enough, in 1831. The fella who designed it, well, designed the original, was John Foster Sr. And unfortunately, he was getting a bit too old, and he wanted to build it in 1801. So anyway, his son then, John Foster Jr., he became a prominent, fantastic architect. And he said to us, Dad, he says, I'm going to finish that for you, Dad. And he actually designed the one that you see today. And it was solid, solid. Now, that was bombed, as you know, because it's called the bombed out church. Now,
yeah.
where's my parallel here? And what it was, if Jason's still listening, he might be able to put it up for us. Hang on, let's see if we can do it. Let's see. Oh, I was just trying to. What it is, like, do you know? Do you know the custom house that was at the on the Dock Road,
Yeah,
right facing the Albert Dock, right facing, you know, the Albert Dock, right facing it on Fifth. Now the point is, it was bombed. Well, it wasn't bombed really during the Second World War, just like the church, and that was built by John Foster Jr. too. And it opens up in 1828. The St. Luke's, the bombed out church, opens up in 1831. Now, take the two together. An incendiary just went through the dome of the custom house, just went through it. Yeah, there it is. Thanks, Jay. I love Jay. Right. So
yeah,
when you see the dome there, an incendiary went through, right? But it blew like the back, if you know what I mean, not the front. So there was two-thirds of it was gutted, unfortunately, but just gutted. And the other third was prime, it was okay. You know, as though nothing's been touched. So anyway, preservationists said, yeah, I'll keep it up. And other people were saying, no, it's dangerous. And you say, no, it's not. Because if you think, yeah, that's it. But that's when it was being demolished. That picture was when it was being demolished. And it was still solid. It really was still solid. And as you can see with the columns, you know, you had columns in the front, you had two sets of columns in the at the side of each of the dome, and also columns at the back of it there. So you had all those columns, and they were solid. So they started to take the roof off, if you know what I mean. Started to take the roof off. Started to take it brick by, well, stone by stone, because the Americans wanted it. They said, oh, we'll buy that. Now, why would they fucking buy it if we're saying it was too dangerous? And it wasn't. Because if you think an incendiary at that, it just gutted, as I said, 2/3 of it, which could have easily have been saved. Honestly. It's like letting a balloon down, just letting a balloon, all the air out of it. And someone say, oh, that's no good now, there's a hole in it. And you say, no, there isn't a hole in it.
Yeah.
And you blow it up and say, yeah, I did say it's okay. Now we'll get rid of it, just in case a hole does come in it. And that's what that was like. Preservation, as you're saying, it can easily be saved. It's only gutted. We can get all that out and do whatever. And the next was, no, we're not doing that, because they were selling it off to the Americans. Now, if the Americans wouldn't have come in for it, that would have been safe. We'd have still had that. And it was the same type of stone of St. George's Hall. Now, there are two things. One, like the same stone, these are heavy stone, not just bricks, but stone. And like St. Luke's Church, the bombed out church, now that was properly bombed, but an actual bomb hit that, not an incendiary. And that's still standing. That's still standing today, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, whether you know about this or not, I don't know. But William Brown Street, right? You've got the museum there, haven't you?
Yeah.
The museum. Now, that was bombed. Did you know that? That was actually bombed in the May Blitz. That was it. And loads of things were... loads of things, and I mean loads of things, was destroyed. Is that still there? Of course it is. Of course it's still standing.
Yeah.
So why not the Custom House? And that's what annoys me.
Well, they've just done it with Notre Dame, haven't they? Which was entirely engulfed in flame. And it's taken, 4 years to 5 years to restore. That would have been absolutely majestic, restored on or opposite our Albert Dock now. Wow, good time.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Yeah, preservationists were saying it's absolutely horrendous. There you go, look at it.
So is it a central government thing, a body of people who say, no, we're not spending money on that?
Corruption. They were making money by selling it to the Americans.
Right.
Making a lot of money. But the Americans got that fed up and they went, oh, we don't want it now to that. Because that's what Americans are like. That's what Americans are like. It's like the overhead railway. The first electrified overhead railway in the entire world.
Yeah.
And it's had a 60-year lifespan. And it was a tourist attraction then. But because they needed new plates, because it was damaged during the war, but it was still going after it was bombed during the May Blitz. And, they fixed it. So after the war, they went, we need 2 million quid, for all these plates. Now, the point is, at the time, with that, was that people were saying, the next big thing now is the buses. So we don't need this. That's the overhead railway. Oh, we don't need it because buses is the new norm now, if you know what I mean. And that was it. I like that politics. But then again, it was corruption because people in the council were in the demolition business. See? So, you know, where money's concerned, there's always been corruption. Do you know what says about corruption? I know it sounds mad, this. But if you think about it, the saga of Robin of Locksley, you know, that was corruption, because what the sheriff was earning and what everyone else, oh, you know, you'll be all right, lads. He was paying his soldiers to keep Robin away. And Robin was saying, I'm going, what about the poor? You know, you're not giving anything to the poor. So we robbed the rich to give to the poor. And that's what it was like. And that's going back to medieval times.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So money's always been an excuse for everything. And that includes a war. That includes wars. Any resources that's good for the country, you'll go and grab it. And that's how we built an empire. That's why we love, think about it, India tea and Chinese tea. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, I looked into the overhead railway. Now think about that. That was during the war. That was during the May Blitz. That was the May Blitz. And they fixed it because it was still running. They couldn't afford for it not to run during the war.
Yeah, because it was a value to people.
Wow, yeah, there's not half of value. But do you know why, Anthony? Do you know why if you think about it, because just in the background there, you can just about see at the very top, you can just about see the shaft, you know, the Mersey Tunnel shaft, right? You can see it there, just in the, and also the top of the Port of Liverpool building dome, and to the extreme right as you go along with the wonderful overhead, you can see the side of Cunard building.
Yes.
Right, and you know, a bit further on, that's the Liver building. So that they're all intact. But the Port of Liverpool building was like actually shaking. And on one of my DVDs, I filmed the inside of the dome, and you've got these massive iron like things to keep us, because it became unsafe. But they strengthened it with these big iron girders to make it safe. So that's how it's okay today. Now, why they weren't bombed? They were a landmark for the Luftwaffe to get back to Germany, to get back to the bases.
So they had a purpose.
No, they had a massive purpose, because if they were to be flattened, they wouldn't have been able to navigate. They were there as a. I remember taking my students up to see the castle up at Rivington Pike, and then we went on to Grasmere and Wordsworth's home. You know, he had two homes, one in Duff Cottage and one in Bridal Mount. Beautiful places. Right, so he went, all right, Frank, where are we going? I said, yeah, we'll go. So anyway, I said, come on, let's go. And I went, now look, and there was like this steeple church. I said, now look at that. That's your landmark, just in case you get lost. But don't, I'll be waiting here for you in an hour's time. So all come around and we'll get back to the coach. They all went, all right, Frank, you know, okay, because we were walking around. So anyway, an hour later, you know, a few of them, and most of them, you know, the majority of them come back to me. And we're all walking out. I said, remember, and we were walking past this church, and I went, remember the steeple, the church? And they all went, oh yeah, Frank. So we were walking, and they go, how far is it to Coach Frank? You're off to about half an hour. I said, you've got another landmark to come to. But anyway, we came to the steeple. They said, is that it there? And it was the same church. I was walking around in a circle. They all left me. And when we got back to the coach, the people who never showed, you know, like when I said, meet me in an hour, you know, there's about 6 of them, 6 to 10 of them. And they said, where were you? We were been waiting ages for you. And the fella went, I fucking lost us. Well, you know, absolutely ridiculous the way it went through. But, you know, they're the fun times.
Yeah.
They're the fun times. And when you look at that picture there, that's a painting now. Isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful.
You know, you've got the overhead, the first electrified in the entire world. Just imagine that there today, Anthony.
Oh, I can't imagine it. And that, I think that's the thing. You know, it's not like, nah, but that would be absolutely fantastic now. You can't help it when you drive down the Strand and you come with us and you have been with us when we're in the car, and it's like bumper to bumper to bumper all along. Thousands of people are just flooding onto the Albert Dock to get that sense, tourists, to get that sense of history. How that would have blown them away to have this, the overhead there.
Yes.
And just to pay a few quid to get from Lime Street, from the Liver building to the airport. How great is that? You know.
Well, that's it. You see, you know, right to Southport. Right to you had everything. If you wanted to go to Southport, you jumped on the train. If you wanted to get to the, you know, New Brighton and Seacombe and places like that, you jumped on the ferry. So we had links to wonderful places that we used to go to. Even going to Formby and Ainsdale, you know, we loved going there because it was great. It was a great day out on the sand dunes.
Yeah.
Just loved it.
It's a strange thing. The overhead railway had kind of gone by the time I used to spend more time in town. But Peterhead was always a fascinating hub of people from everywhere.
Yeah. Look, like Seaford Sands, that's where it ended. But it was incredible. Look at all those docks. 7.5 miles of it.
Yeah.
7.5 miles of docks. Incredible. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But you've got like James Street there, and then James Street, I think I mentioned it last week, I'm not quite so sure. But James Street to Hamilton Square was the very first tunnel to be dug underwater.
Yeah.
Underwater, Anthony. And in the world, you know, no one has ever done it, but we did. Napoleon, incidentally, he wanted to build a tunnel. Did you know that? Under the
you
mentioned. He wanted to build a tunnel. Shall we build a tunnel? They go, no, piss off. I'm coming you lot coming through here. But
what a remarkable vision. What a wonderful vision. And
Yeah.
you mentioned that the other week, Frank, when we were on, and I was kind of a bit gobsmacked because obviously we were led to believe that Napoleon was this tyrant, and that's it, you know, no other further information needed, and yet, of course, it's just like majestically clever, visionary gentleman.
Oh, he was a visionary
That
because he was fed up with all the wars, you know, because each country, each European country were having wars with each other. They were always having wars. And, you know, he said, Francis sent me over, you know, to Austria to fight these people and going over there and fighting there in Sweden and everything. He said, what for? He said, why are we doing this? Why don't we just get together and let's trade? That was Napoleon. Napoleon was an incredible man.
Yeah.
He actually put the buttons on sleeves that we have today, you know, on our coats.
Yeah.
And that was to stop the soldiers doing that. Did you know that?
Yeah. Well, it never stopped me when I was a schoolboy, but yeah.
Doesn't stop me now.
Well, do you know
But then
what? Well, you inspired me greatly when you first mentioned him, and even more so now, to go away and actually do a bit of research on him. I know that the Williamson Art Gallery at Slatey Road, Birkenhead, has got a series of Napoleon relics. Do you call him? Remember?
really?
There's like a view set up in as one of his rooms would have been. And obviously the green wallpaper, because he was saying
even even the clocks. Remember I always remember my old grandmother has a clock, and it was shaped like that. I can't see that. I don't know where they are, man. I'm over there. It was, like a Napoleon hat, shaped like.
Yeah.
That's the way it was. So that was a Napoleon hat. So, those clocks. You had, he was fed up, not fed up, he felt sorry for his troops. He was going on these things, these excursions to foreign lands, foraging for food.
Yeah.
So he invented the tin to preserve food.
Yeah.
He invented it.
Yeah.
It's
incredible. What an amazing
And do you know
person.
what else he invented? Do you know what else he invented? Trench warfare. Trench warfare.
Wow.
If the enemy were coming at you, you would be below ground, and all of a sudden you just went above ground and started firing. Trench warfare. Incredible what he did. And also, which the Foreign Legion lads wear, the caps with the flap at the back. That was to keep the sun in their necks.
To sunstroke.
So, he wasn't just he was a great leader. I have 5 military people who, to me, they're incredible.
Yeah.
He was one of them. Nelson was another. Vespasian was another. He was a general in the Roman army. He conquered here. He was a general. He became an emperor, and he was absolutely an amazing man. And he was a great, like Marcus Aurelius was a great man.
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius, great philosopher, great everything, this fella. All as he wanted was peace, along with Vespasian, right? Yeah. And the other fella, and one of my greats, was a Soviet, Marshal Zhukov. He was an incredible man, Marshal Zhukov. And without him and getting to Berlin, honestly, telling you now, God knows what would have happened. He fought 2/3 of the German army. 2/3. Not one, like the Allies, 2/3. So, you know, he's a great man. So all these people who have mentioned, phenomenal in what they did in warfare.
It's amazing when you see the timeline of these people as well. They're never all together at one time, and it's like almost godlike, the sprinkle of genius on the planet. You know, from artists to thinkers to scientists to just truly remarkable people who grew up in an area where hundreds of thousands of other people live and breathe the same air, but do not have the same vision.
No, I've just looked at my clock on my watch, on my phone, and it's got 222. They're my numbers.
Yeah.
It's strange how they come up, my numbers. And I always remember it was last week, and all of a sudden, it was 11 minutes past 11, you know, on my phone, 11:11.
Yeah.
And do you know what I was thinking of? My old girl. My old girl. He died on the 22nd of December, and her birthday is on the 11th of November.
Wow.
You know, it's strange how it just comes up. I've got it there. Norman.
Oh, great.
He says, I don't think, oh yeah. Are you Frank and Anthony?
Hi, Norman.
And he says, Marcus Aurelius, you have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. I have that saying in my bed, Frank. Very powerful words, which gives me strength. There you go. Yeah. See, so it's been great. You know, tonight has been, unfortunately, we never had John with us. John McArdle was to have spoken to him.
Next time.
Next time, yeah, he'll be with us. He's a lovely, lovely man. Love the bones of him. And no one has mentioned about this. I said, any of the lads, you know. So I'll mention it tomorrow night if anyone wants that. Talking about John, you want to get that. Honestly, it's a cracking book. And if anyone likes reading, and Christmas is coming up, You Never Said Goodbye. It's a personal story about his dad. It's a cracking story. It really is. By the lovely John. And also, don't forget, you can all win this. I'll be talking about this tomorrow, which is the fantasy football. And also, you can win this game for fantasy football. Wow. It's a watch, perpetual motion, and it's great. It really is. And so, yeah, look. Norman again. I always felt Lennon would have left Yoko in the end. No one
I
ever
think,
says that, really.
yeah,
Do
I
you
think
think?
the same. No one, yeah. I think probably sooner rather than later. Then
Wow.
there's there's various books, and it's like, you know, Frank and I always said you can't just read one book to get a story. You got to read 7, 8, 9, and 10 books. But there's a lot of them point to the same thing, really, in that he was finding himself. He just released an album of songs which were phenomenally good. Woman, Watching the Wheels, Beautiful Boy, all of these songs which were very emotive and very much loved by people. I
Well,
think, oh, yeah.
no, I was just going to say about May Pang when he, went with her, didn't he? He just went up.
Did for a few years, and May is a wonderful, wonderful person,
Yes, he is.
and she's not at all. There's a weird thing goes on in Beatle mythology, and there are those who were in the what they call the inner circle, and those who are connected. Everyone's got a story, and some it's not a very big story, but they like to fathom out their story. May Pang is just a wonderful person,
She is.
and pleasure of meeting her. And she signed stuff, and she brought a book out many years ago, which is still available on like Amazon and eBay, called Loving John. If you read that and then read various books, that will tell you that the whole John and Yoko in love forever thing was a fallacy. Wasn't happening, never really happened. John's mental abilities were challenged by the new, and so he was made up with that. He was enlightened with that. It's like when you and I learn a piece of information, you think, I'll go and, check that out. That's what he did. But in the 10 years that John and Yoko were together, they weren't together. Because 1973, they split up, and he had his so-called Lost Weekend, which was 3 years.
Yeah, it lasted 3 years.
He discovered.
And if you care, funny enough, I was listening to one of the saddest songs I've ever heard in my life is Harry Nilsson's "Without You."
Yeah.
I can't live without you. Can't live, I can't take anymore. Fantastic. And yet they became mates.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Written by a Scouser, Pete Ham.
Was it?
Yeah.
Go on. No, I thought he yeah, there's something. I always thought Harry Nilsson.
No, Badfinger were the name of the band, and there was a couple of Scousers in it. One of the main songwriters. It's a tragic story, Frank. It really is, and it's true. And we've heard it with our dear friend Billy Kinsley, and many good musicians that you and I know. That there is no money in music if the management and people take it away from you, and that's what happened to Badfinger. So that Harry Nilsson had a massive multi-million selling song. They should have been multi-millionaires. They never made a penny. And the two main guys, Derek will correct me in a week or so, they sadly committed suicide because it's like there's no money in the pot. But yeah, really powerful, emotive song. Really powerful story. Yeah.
Do you know what? That's a now surprised me. It really. I always thought Harry Nilsson wrote that, and it's one of the saddest songs. You've only got to listen, to. I've always said about two particular songs. One by Lennon, when he sang "Stand By Me," and I mentioned this to Benny King. I said, have you ever heard the cover version of your Stand By Me by John Lennon? He said, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it, he said. And
That's,
that to me was all Lennon.
yeah.
He met every note, every syllable of every word, of every
Yeah.
lyric.
In that beautiful Scouse accent.
Exactly.
That has been so big. You know, people copy.
I'm sorry, but the other one was Without You by Harry Nilsson.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
That's, you know, to that. You know,
Yeah.
you just listen to it. You know, you can imagine him crying or actually saying to this girl,
Yeah.
I can't live, I can't give anymore.
I think it was Lennon who introduced Harry Nilsson to the song, because the band that wrote it, the two main guys on the Scouse, Badfinger, they were signed by Apple Records in the late 60s, and they worked on George Harrison's All Things Must Pass album, came in as musos, and they also worked at varying degrees on Lennon's Imagine album, which was recorded in England just before he went to New York. And I think it would have been Lennon to say, you know, I know who's going to do a good version of your song, Harry Nilsson, and there you go. And the rest, as you say, is history. And it is.
Yeah.
History is not always happy.
No. And Pak Hung Chan said, two
Yes.
members of Badfinger hung themselves, sadly.
Yeah.
Their manager picked them off. Pete Ham was Welsh.
Yeah.
Well, we're the capital of Wales, Pak. We're the capital of Wales, so.
And the other lad was Scouse.
This is a nice one. I'm gonna end on this. And it's Norman. He says, I say yes, because really like Shankly, he lives forever. This is about John. He really lives forever, does he not? His music and personality don't really die, do they? Look at Shankly. A man like that does not die. He is made of granite and is.
He becomes the pivotal point, doesn't he? That if you think you're good at whatever you do, then the comparison is to compare to Shankly, and no one really has been that good, you know.
No.
Because times change, you know. Culturally, we had the 60s and early 70s, but he was the first. Shankly was beyond football in that he brought people together by his ability, and John Lennon was beyond music.
He epitomised everything. He epitomised everything. And as one of the lads said, you know, in 1964, the Beatles colorised music. Thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Isn't that brilliant? Well, anyway, mister, I'm letting you get back to bed. Well, not back to bed, but I mean, look at that. Oh, he's a whopper, isn't he? Look at that. Right. There's the custom house in the background there, what I was talking about. And Jason's put it up. But look at the way the ship is. Look at the way the ship's just keeled over there. And have you noticed what they're doing? Now, I don't know whether they're in a grading dock for repairs or that's toppled over. Because you've got two sets of fellas, you know, pulling on it. So I just don't know. It's fantastic. But look at the custom out in the background.
Yeah, no, that's just Liverpool, isn't it? Both
That's
those
Liverpool.
things are gone, but that's Liverpool.
Yes. And, you know, just imagine having that there today on Shabazz Park. Wonder what, and would have been a hotel, most probably, 5-star hotel. It could have been anything.
I know this, but this is the crazy thing. We have museums for all different things. Why not just have a building of absolute beauty, which is a beautiful, like St. George's Hall, multifunctional. That I see that would have been the same, you know.
Yeah.
You want to get married there, you get married there. You want to, you know, exhibit whatever you want to do. It's a building that is absolutely prime for anything. I would imagine the acoustics in there would have been fantastic to listen to music.
You know, there's loads of things that are, you know, to me, means so much.
Yeah.
You know, especially architecture of this great city of ours. And it's surprising how much have been destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, in the 20th century, we're in the 21st.
Yeah.
And in the 20th century, so much had been destroyed, not by bombs, but by our own city planners.
Yeah.
And it's shocking. I forget who said it to, but anyway, he's a leader. And I said, who was it? I'll tell you who it was. It was Steve Rotherham. Steve Rotherham, when he was Lord Mayor of Liverpool. And I said, Steve, why don't you get all your councillors? I said, because I'm not being funny. Some of them are thick. He said, what do you mean? I said, they haven't a clue about the city. You know, they're giving us all, you know, for the well-being of the city, the citizens and housing and whatever. I said, but they haven't a clue about the history of it. Really? You know, and he said, that's a good idea. I said, okay. And he said, look out for an email I'm sending you, Frank. Okay, mate. Yeah, I'll look out for that, Norman. I'll look out for that. And Paco Chance says, the Hilton Hotel is on the site of the Custom House now. Yeah, it was a big, so Shabazz Park, that was the site. Because it was huge. It wasn't just like under Shabazz Park. I went by the Hilton Hotel. I was the historical consultant for them. Pac was the historical. And I'm going to finish on this. I'll have to. The Adelphi Reborn. Why can't someone buy it and rename it under that name? It could be incredible. We were only talking about that, Norman, on one of my shows. I think it was on Saturday morning, saying, you know, just shut it. But Liverpool people don't own it. Liverpool companies don't own it. I remember the railway owning it at one time, Midland Railway. But whether they still own it, I don't know. But no Liverpool people own it.
No,
and they're just making too much money, you know, to close it, to refurbish it. They're making too much money. And that's what they've said. No, we're not shutting it down. Why should we? And spend on it. It's a beauty. No matter how you look at the Adelphi Hotel, it's beautiful. It's huge. It's a huge hotel. When you stand back and look at it, it's a fantastic piece of architecture. And that's the sad thing, because people say it's a disgrace. Yeah, it could be a 4-star hotel. I don't know what it is today. I don't know whether it's a 1 or a 2. I'm quite sure.
It's been voted for something like 8 or 10 consecutive years at the worst hotel. And it's a shame because it is a majestic building, and the layout inside is it's just tired. It just needs
That's all it
a bit-
needs. It needs a good clean, bit of paintwork,
yeah,
a couple of jobs fixed, but that's what it needs. It says inside is fantastic. You've got the Sefton Suite that was based on the smoking room of the Titanic. Exactly the way it was, from the paper to the colours to the chandelier to everything. Everything is based on the smoking room of the Titanic.
I love it in there. I still love going in there. Lena used to work there in her youth, and it is a wonderful part of Liverpool history, but also, everyone knows it.
That's it. But do you know the BBC, Look Northwest?
Yeah.
And anyway, I was talking to the presenter. It was a girl, I don't know she was. Just chatting to her. And she said, what guest came out? So I mentioned about Laura Lenardi and Lloyd Rogers and Dave, with his wife, and Trigger. She said, does Trigger stay here? I said, yeah. She said, don't say that he stays in the same bed as well. I said, yeah. She said, never. And this is all on camera. She said, never. I said, oh, are you? Roy? I said, in fact, Roy was sleeping on one end, Dale was on the other, and Trigger was in the middle. God. So I just went, no. And she started laughing. Can I believe in you? I said, yeah, man. There you go. I said, come on.
Do you know what? As a useless piece of information, Willie Nelson, the fantastic musician, named his guitar Trigger after that horse.
There it is.
There it is.
And she believed it. Honestly, she believed it. She, in the middle. I said, oh, are you? Right, Dale.
Beautiful fucking horse, though.
She laughed her head off. She said, where's it? When I told her now. She said, where does it stay? I said, there's a garage at the side of the hotel. I said, that's where it stayed. There's a little stable there. And that's great, showing the bloody horse. And Pac says, what's that ship on the side of the queue in our custom house? It's called a Diego. Pac. As far as I know, I don't know what it is. That's the name of it anyway, the Diego. I think it must have been getting fitted or something. That's why it's down. If you know what I mean. I think it's the Gravens. Well, anyway, mister, I'm going to finish on that lovely note. And I've got 3 twos now. That's brilliant. So anyway, I'll see you next week. With a bit of luck.
Indeed, mate. Indeed, thanks, Frank.
No, thank you. Got to thank all the chat for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great people. I've got to thank Gap Painting Services for sponsoring the Frank Carlyle Show, because without them sponsoring, we'd be struggling to carry on with the show. Also, it's the chat, because without you chat, the unfortunate thing is that There'd be no Frank Carlyle Show. I was
There
just waiting
wouldn't.
for Gap. And listen, if you're an elderly, if you're an NHS worker, get these people in. If you're decorating, just get them in. Don't struggle. Great discounts. Even if you're not in that category of people, still great. Honestly, I'm not saying discount, but very reasonable prices. Don't struggle trying to do a place. Get these lads in, fully time served, fully insured, and they're in and out. Honestly. So thanks to Gap Painting Services for sponsoring the Frank Carlyle Show. And thanks to my great friend Anthony Brown. And you can always find Anthony's stuff on everything, really. You can always find it on wherever. It's fantastic what he can do and what he does do for everyone. And there it is. Search Facebook, Instagram, or Google for Anthony Brown, artist. For Anthony Brown, artist. He's not just an ordinary artist, he's fantastic, believe you me. One of our greats, one of Liverpool greats. And thanks very much for tuning in, for keeping us company. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, I have the post-match, because it's an early kick-off. So I'll be on tomorrow night. I'm getting another message off Jerry. Most probably he's got Krieger outside the office.
It'll be good for the Rovers.
Do you know Pak Hung Chan said, what's that ship?
Yeah.
Well, it's called, the ship is the Baboo. The Baboo.
The Baboo.
In the background. That's what it is. Pak, so you've got your answer, the Baboo. Whether you're any wise, I'm not any wise, unfortunately. And that's lovely. And Pak says, thanks Frank and Anthony and Jason. Thanks Gap, the sponsors too. Isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? Thank you, Pak Hung
Yeah,
Chan.
it's lovely. Yeah.
Great name, that, isn't it? Pak Hung Chan. Pak Hung Chan. And don't forget tomorrow night, live with Frank again, getting called for everything. That's a cracker. Thanks, Baboo, to you too. That's a cracker. Thanks, Baboo, to you too.
That's it.
Baboo, brilliant. That's great, that's amazing, great. So I'll see you all tomorrow night, hopefully. See Anthony and myself back again next Monday for another history show. I think we'll do a lot of Christmassy stuff, if that's okay with you, Anthony.
Yeah. Whatever way it and chat takes us, Frank, is good with me. I'm happy.
I'm still trying to think of that bloody tune's going through my head, you know, by Rimsky-Korsakov. Da, 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 da. And you hear jingle bells, you hear bells going. Not like jingle, but you hear bells going anyway. And I'm going to ask Jason to play about 10 seconds of it.
Well, I know Jason's trying to arrange that we got Derek with us one more time before Christmas. And we'll run all that by him then. You know, see because I think his prompt was songs which are obviously inspired by Christmas. You know,
I had him on my film show a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah,
I gave him 2 films to review.
Yeah,
He gave the story away. Oh, it's so... he's reviewing no more films, but don't tell him.
I won't.
I said, what have you done that for? He said, well, you know, it's in the film. I said, yeah, but it's supposed to be, you know. Anyway, that's by the by. And I'm just going to finish now, people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Jason.
Cheers, mate. Because without Jason, we'd be still struggling. See that? The green screen. The green screen. Frank and the green screen.
Yeah.
Ci vediamo. Addomani. Ciao, bella.